Chapter 01 The ability to know people. Liangjie, a junior computer science student, has no car, no house, no background, but looks decent. His parents rent a storefront in the high-tech zone to sell fresh fruit. However, things don't always go as planned. During the summer vacation, he was helping to take care of the fruit stall and took a nap. He was struck by thunder and sent to another world. I stayed there for 20 days but never got the return ferry ticket. I get up early every day. Turn left and there is a street that looks like a film studio in ancient Hengdian. Dozens of boys and girls with funny buns are selling their goods to all the customers who pass by. The same is true for Liangjie, employed by a Dao monk named Lu. He took 10 bottles of spiritual spring to the market every day to sell, and every month he could get a spiritual coin as a wage and a bottle of spiritual spring to enhance his physique. Yes, Xuanhuan is the kind of spring water that contains spiritual energy and has the effect of enhancing the physical fitness of ordinary people. It can also be used to refine tools and irrigate spiritual grain fields and spiritual trees. Xuanhuan comes from a small spiritual well in the home of the monk surnamed Lu. The daily output is very limited, with only 10 bottles which can barely provide Lu with the purchase of spiritual grains and spiritual fruits. After 20 days of observation and understanding, Liangjie finally had a preliminary understanding of this strange and wild fairyland. The savage immortal realm is a world where immortals and mortals coexist, under the protection of cultivator. Mortals are protected from all kinds of monsters and at the same time provide various services to the cultivators. For example, I was sent by my parents to a cultivator named Lu to help exchange spiritual springs into spiritual grains and fruits, saving time for cultivator Lu and allowing him to devote himself to cultivation. The original owner of the body had a very nice dream 3 years later, when he had accumulated 36 bottles of spiritual springs and 36 spiritual coins. He would be able to join the nearest small sect, Kanglan sect, and become a glorious outer disciple. When Liangjie merged his body's memories with the original owner's, he discovered that the clearest memory in his mind was the fantasy of flying into the sky and hiding in the ground after joining the Kanglan sect. How to say it? Although it is very vulgar, it seems to be more realistic and ambitious than the ideals of many mediocre losers in another world. Well, not bad. Sail it, sail it. A simple and honest voice sounded from the side, and Liangjie came back to his senses. He turned his head and said to Nugang, who had 2 slugs hanging from his nose, "What's wrong?" Dainyu Nugang, also known as Dainyu, was a famous person with supernatural powers in this market. It was said that he was spotted by a monk from the Vajra sect and was recruited as his disciple. However, it turned out that Nugang had a bit of a brain problem and was often teased by passers-by, discouraged. The monk gave up the idea and kept him by his side as a servant. The two met when they saw a little boy who was also a vendor trying to cheat Dainyu of 2 spirit coins. Only Liangjie reminded him, and Nugang was very grateful. They quickly became friends and became good friends. Nugang was born with a slow brain, but a cheerful personality. His eyebrows jumped up and down, and he smiled. "Since you have sold all the spiritual springs, please help me sell the spiritual fruits in my hand as well. I will take you to the purple bamboo forest to catch snow rabbits later. You talk as if you could really catch it." Liangjie patted his butt disdainfully and sat up from the ground, weighing the 20 spirit coins he got from selling the spirit spring. The spirit coins were icy cold and very comfortable to the touch. The snow rabbit in the bamboo forest is a spiritual animal after all. Do you really think you can catch it with your skills? You idiot, it is teasing you. What does tease mean? Nugang sniffed, and the 2 slugs miraculously shrank back, and then slowly stuck out half of their bodies from their nostrils. And he immediately lost interest in explaining. "Forget it, as long as you are happy." Walking to Nugang's stall, Liangjie frowned. He saw 8 juicy red fruits neatly placed in a small jade box that was emitting a chill. "How did you open the box?" "The box smells delicious when I opened it." This is what Daniel answered. "Besides, how would others know that my fruits are big and red without opening the box?" This explanation sewed. But Liangjie was born into a family selling fresh fruits. Years of experience have taught him that spiritual fruits also need to be kept fresh. The reason why they are placed in jade boxes is to preserve the freshness of the spiritual fruits and to seal the rich spiritual power in the spiritual fruits to prevent them from being lost. When the jade box is opened, the spiritual power in the spiritual fruit will be lost and it will gradually lose its original luster and value. This kid must have been cheated again. Liangjie turned his head and looked around, and sure enough, he saw 2 little kids who were also selling things at the stall, shrugging their shoulders secretly and laughing. When their eyes met, they sneered with hatred and provocation. It turned out to be him. Liangjie understood immediately. This little boy was the one who had cheated Nugang before. After being severely beaten up, he disappeared from the market for a while. Unexpectedly, he came back today. Bang! Liangjie closed the jade box decisively, although Nugang was slow and stupid. He immediately realized something when he saw Liangjie close the jade box. He turned his head and looked at the 2 children with a look of resentment. It was him who said that his spiritual fruit was bigger and more fragrant, so it must sell faster than mine. I was not convinced because my spiritual fruit was obviously bigger and more fragrant, so. After Liangjie explained to him, Nugang suddenly became angry, clenched his fists and prepared to go over and cause trouble. "Daniel, don't go over there, they are so bad I want to beat him up." "Forget it. The jade box has not been opened for long, so the spiritual power has not been lost much. It will not affect the value of the spiritual fruit. I will help you find a buyer." Liangjie looked around for a while, then spotted 2 young girls and walked over. "Huh, New Gang was stunned on the spot. The two little kids who were very good at playing with small things also looked surprised. These servants are used to setting up stalls in the market with their master's things, so they naturally don't understand what active sales promotion means or what the art of judging people means. Having worked at the fruit and fresh produce stall for a long time, Liangjie already had his own set of skills in judging people. As for the past customers, as long as he listened carefully and summarized patiently, he could understand who were the repeat customers, who were the potential customers, and who were the big customers. Although he sells spiritual spring water, he still habitually stores other customers' demand information. These two girls were maids in the Zhu mansion. They possessed low-level cultivation of the first rank. Every 1 or 2 days they would go to the market together to purchase some spiritual springs and spiritual fruits. What I remember most clearly was that one of them once said that the young lady liked to entertain guests with fresh and beautiful spiritual fruits the most. Really, after New Gang showed the spiritual fruit in his hand to the two girls, they paid for it without saying a word and received a little surprise as well. One of the girls looked around curiously with bright eyes and said, "I remember you. You seem to sell spiritual springs. Why are you selling spiritual fruits today? And how do you know we need spiritual fruits? Sister, you have a really good memory. My name is Liangjie. I used to be a servant in Monk Lu's house over there. Today I am helping my friend sell spiritual fruits." Of course I have a deep impression of the two sisters. The two sisters are as beautiful as fairies. I dream that the sisters will come to buy my spiritual spring the next day. Cluck, cluck. The two girls laughed so hard that they fell backwards. "Little brother, you have a very sweet mouth." Of course, Liangjie smiled, but in his heart he didn't care about making the two little girls laugh. How can small business owners in the 21st century survive if they don't know how to flatter sisters? "What do you think of my brother's spiritual fruit? It is sweet, juicy and big. I will definitely want to eat more after I buy it." Okay, you've called me sister so many times, I'd feel embarrassed if I didn't accept it." The girl with a beauty mole on her left cheek took out 24 spirit coins and got the spirit fruit. She changed her tone and said, "By the way, little brother Liangjie, you are familiar with this place. Can you come and help your sister? No problem." Liangjie patted his chest and made a boast. "Sister, you said, I will never frown even if I go through fire and water." This immediately made the two girls laugh again. "By the way, I don't know the names of your two sisters yet." "And this is your sister Kongfang. Brother Liangjie, you must remember it." The girl with the beauty mole said her maiden name straightforwardly, and Kongfang, who was a little reserved, couldn't even stop her. With a helpless look on her face, Lu said again, "Okay, I won't joke with you anymore. Sister has a lot of things to purchase today. In addition to spiritual springs, spiritual fruits and spiritual grains, we also need to purchase some spiritual tea and spiritual wine. But after walking around, we haven't collected enough spiritual fruits and spiritual springs, and it's getting late now. We are worried that we can't buy the most important spiritual tea and spiritual wine. If we delay the young lady's annual gathering with her fellow disciples, we will all be punished." "Lu, what's the point of you saying this to your brother Liangjie?" Kongfang complained. Before he finished speaking, Liangjie patted his chest and said that it was no problem. "Hi, I thought it was a big deal. Leave it to me. My two sisters, you go buy the spiritual tea and spiritual wine. Leave this to me. I promise that when you come back, you will see enough spiritual fruits and spiritual springs. By the way, how much do you still need? Even if he bought more, it would be no problem." After 20 days of observation, Liangjie knew exactly how many spiritual springs and spiritual fruits all the cultivators in this market had. Even if they sold out in the market, there were still several large households with stocks. "But we have only received 20 so far, and there is also a shortfall of 40 bottles of spiritual spring water for making tea. Can you really help us get them?" "No problem. Just go and buy the spiritual tea and wine. I'll prepare them for you and you can settle the bill at the market price later." "Are you kidding? These monks are all mortals who have become spirits. How could any of them not have some stock in hand? 40 bottles of spiritual springs can be solved by themselves. The master monk Lu has at least several hundred bottles of spiritual springs in stock. The reason why only 10 bottles are provided every day is that there is an agreement among the monks to stabilize the market price. As for spiritual fruits, Dainu should be able to get them from the monks of the Vajra sect of his master's family." "Great. I'll come back and settle the bill." Kongfang thought that since there was no need to pay in advance, she agreed. She agreed on a meeting time with Liangjie, and they both left the market. A hint of ecstasy blossomed on Liangjie's face. "Ha! Daniel, follow me!" Chapter Ziyun 2 passed the polygraph test. The savage immortal realm is a world where cultivators dominate humanity, and the hierarchy system is very strict. Mortals are ants. A first-rank monk is just a servant, second-rank monks can be independent, a third-rank cultivator can establish a family, and those above the third rank can guard a region. Once they reach the peak of the third rank, they are considered to have stepped half a foot into the middle stage of the perception period, and are rare in ordinary markets. As for the late stage of perception and the higher level of the concentration period, they are all in large sects and are rarely seen in normal times. Liangjie witnessed with his own eyes several servants in the market who were beaten to death by the monks of their master's family just because they were greedy for petty gains. The worst one was burned to ashes by a fireball spell of a second-rank monk. In the end, the servant's family dared not say a word and others were used to it. In the wild world, ordinary mortals are like ants. If they anger the master monks in the slightest, Breaking their legs is already a very merciful punishment. The only way for ordinary mortals to be promoted to become monks is to rely on a large family or sect, and rely on their outstanding qualifications and hard work that is several times that of the family members to obtain more resources and continue their path of cultivation. Want to embark on the path of cultivation based solely on your qualifications? Delusion! After understanding the cruelty of this world, Liangjie was always thinking about ways to accumulate resources, but he never dared to act recklessly and only dared to use legitimate methods. This time the opportunity really came. Liangjie remembered that although the monks in the market had an agreement not to dump all kinds of spiritual objects to suppress prices, private transactions were not prohibited. The monks even encouraged their errand boys to find customers so that the price could be slightly lower than the market price. Liu Tao looks only in his 40s, but he is actually over 70 years old. He has a second-grade cultivation level and knows several magic spells. He is quite famous in Ziyun Town. Returning to monk Liu Tao's residence, Liangjie knelt respectfully outside the door. Grown-ups, a voice came from inside the door. Yes, my lord. Liangjie took out the purse containing the spirit coins and placed it on the ground outside the door. Well, take a rest, my lord. I have some good news to tell you. Explain. Liangjie quickly told the Zhu family that they needed 40 bottles of spiritual spring water to prepare a banquet. As soon as the words came out, a gentle yellow light shot out from the door. First-grade magic, light detection. The yellow light circled around Liangjie and then slowly flew into the door. Confirmed. Liu Tao's slightly satisfied voice came from inside the house. You are quite smart. 40 bottles of spiritual spring water can be traded for 80 spiritual coins at the market price, which is 10% higher than the ordinary black market price. If you succeed in this deal, I will reward you. After saying that, a small Qiankun bag shot out from the door, with 40 bottles of spiritual springs neatly placed inside. Thank you, sir. Liangjie secretly broke out in a cold sweat, picked up the Qiankun bag and turned away. I breathed a sigh of relief only after I left the yard. Not bad, not bad. Fortunately, I have seen the methods of these monks and know that they are always aloof and distrustful of outsiders. When encountering any matter, they will first use a lie detector to check the truth. If I conceal anything, lie about the transaction price or something else, what I will throw out is probably not a Qiankun bag but a fireball to destroy the body and cover up all traces. Fortunately, he had no intention of making a profit from the price difference from Liu Tao. When he returned to the market with the Qiankun bag, Deniu was already waiting there. Did you get it? As soon as Liangjie saw Danius' expression, he knew that the other party had succeeded and he smiled faintly. Sure enough, Daniel shook the Qiankun bag in his hand, showing a solid and proud smile, and answered with a grin, they are all here, 80 fruits, not one less. Pretty. Liangjie's smile widened. The price that I told Daniel was 18 spirit coins for 10 fruits. According to Danius' character, he would report the truth. If the polygraph was correct, 80 fruits could bring me a difference of 16 spirit coins. After waiting for a while, the servants in the market gradually dispersed. Lu and Kongfang hurried over to meet them and saw Liangjie waiting there. Little brother Hangjie, can you gather all the spiritual fruits and spiritual springs for us? Don't worry about my 80 spiritual fruits and 40 bottles of spiritual spring water. Not less! Liangjie showed a pitiful expression. In order to help my two sisters, I took the risk of being beaten to death by the adults. You won't suffer any loss. Lu and Kongfang confirmed that the spiritual fruits and spiritual springs in the Qiankun bag were correct, and immediately showed a relaxed expression. They felt the same way and spoke with the tone of experienced people. The spiritual coins are all here, a total of 240 spiritual coins. Come on, count them carefully. Take these 2 spirit coins for yourself and consider them as your reward for running errands. Lu generously took out 2 more spirit coins and put them in Liangjie's hand. Liang was very happy. Thank you, Sister Lu. Thank you, Sister Kongfang. The second girl was very happy to complete the mission. She waved goodbye and said, we are going back home. I will come to see you next time. Oak Sister. Liangjie watched the 2 girls leave with a smile, and when they were far away he found Nia Gang hiding in the alley. Daniel, this is yours, coins. Take it back and report it, holding the heavy bag of money. Daniel was so happy that he couldn't stop smiling. I sold a total of 90 fruits today, and the master of the house wanted to reward me with 2 spirit coins. Thank you so much. I will treat you to rabbit meat later. Good, good. Liangjie didn't dare tell Daniel the truth. With his brain, if he let it slip, both of them would be in trouble. This is the best way now. Daniel can get the reward from his master, and he can go back with the spirit coins to report and get his share of the reward. Back in the yard, Liangjie handed the purse containing 80 spirit coins to Liu Tao. Good. With these 80 spirit coins, I finally have more money. You've done a good job. Hangjie, these 2 spirit coins are a reward for you. Go back and work hard to build a good relationship with the maids in the Zhu residence. This is an important customer, Liu Tao instructed. Hangjie thanked the master for the reward. Hangjie will remember it. Liangjie answered obediently. Well, go down. Hearing the slightly commanding tone in Liu Tao's words, Liangjie knew that the latter was about to start practicing again, so he picked up the spirit coin, put it in his pocket silently, and walked. I made a profit of 16 spirit coins from the transaction, and also received a reward of 4 spirit coins. Together with the salary for these 3 months, the total was 23 spirit coins. For ordinary 23 spirit coins are already a considerable fortune, and it is very wealthy among servants. Hangji! Let's go out and play. The big bull is here. Liangjie walked outside the yard and saw Dania holding a rabbit cage woven with purple bamboo in one hand and a rope in the other. He couldn't help laughing. What are you trying to do? Go to the purple bamboo forest to catch snow rabbits, please. It's a spiritual beast, you can't catch it with an ordinary rope. Daniel always obeyed Liangjie's words, and threw the rope to the ground without hesitation. I can also use my hands. The purple bamboo forest south of Ziyun Town is backed by a jewel-like lake with beautiful scenery. There is a tea house for rest every 100 meters, so even though it is outside the town, it is very popular. You can often see many cultivators and mortals coming and going, so there is no need to worry about encountering evil monsters here. The snow rabbit is a pseudo-spiritual animal that lives in the purple bamboo forest. Spirit beasts with good qualifications can form contracts with cultivators and help each other, while weak ones can only serve as food for humans because spirit beasts usually have rich and abundant spiritual energy in their bodies, which is of great benefit to cultivation. The market price of a lowest level grade spirit beast is more than 50 low-grade spirit stones, and one low-grade spirit stone is equivalent to 200 spirit coins. Although pseudo-spiritual beasts cannot be contracted, they are different from ordinary wild beasts. They contain a small amount of spiritual energy in their bodies and can be sold for dozens of spiritual coins after being captured and taken to the market. Many mortals have thought about capturing pseudo-spiritual beasts in exchange for spiritual coins, but even pseudo-spiritual beasts are not easy for ordinary mortals to capture. Take the snow rabbit for example. It is very swift and can jump 7 or 8 meters high. Even a martial arts master may not be able to catch it. Entering the purple bamboo forest, Liangjie looked left and right all the way, completely ignoring the big cow who was obsessed with asking about the rabbit's symptoms, and let him stick his butt out and dig through the haystacks to search for treasure. There is no, where did you go? Rabbits are not grass and they don't grow in haystacks. Can't you go find a rabbit nest? Liangjie couldn't bear it any longer. Daniel thought about it seriously and decided that it made sense, so he started looking for a hole. At this moment, Liangjie suddenly discovered that a team with an impressive ceremonial guard was coming from the direction of the town and heading straight for a tea pavilion in the middle of Zhu Lake. His eyes lit up involuntarily. Leading the group were 4 first-rank monks, followed by 2 rows of maids. Each of them had a graceful figure and was quite pretty. In their hands they held silver basins overflowing with spiritual energy, which were filled with spiritual fruits, spiritual wine, spiritual tea, and bottles of spring water brimming with spiritual energy. All the monks and mortals nearby were shocked by the scene and stopped to take notice. Soon, all kinds of spiritual objects were placed on the stone tables on both sides of the tea pavilion, full of spiritual energy and fragrant smell. 2 rows of maids decorated the purple lake like a fairyland on earth. Ha! Junior sister Fuqin is indeed very impressive. Our visit was sudden and we didn't notify her in advance, but we didn't expect her to take out such ceremonial items right away. Combined with the beautiful lake view, it's really wonderful. We've been thinking about settling down in Ziyun Town for a long time. Worthy of being the #1 cultivation family in Ziyun Town. Thank you for the compliment, senior brother. It is just a vulgar thing and not worthy of respect. Be humble. A group of 7 people, 5 men and 2 women, walked slowly towards the tea pavilion, laughing and talking non-stop. It was obvious that they were the owners of the tea pavilion. Liangjie's heart moved and he guessed the identity of this group of people. Zhu Fuqin, the eldest daughter of the Zhu family, and her fellow disciples in the Xuanhuan sect. I didn't expect that the banquet that Sister Luki mentioned would be held at this Z Lake. Senior brother Roy Yu. It's a small place and has never produced a true mid-level cultivator in the Enlightenment period. All that can be produced is here. Senior brother, please don't laugh at me. Zhu Fuqin kept a low profile. A group of people walked to the stone table, picked up the spiritual fruits on the silver plate, and set up a soundproof barrier outside the tea pavilion, and no sound was heard. Chapter 3 Long-Term Vision. Purple Lake. The scenery remained the same, but not many people were paying attention to it. Most of the monks and mortals looked at the men and women in the tea pavilion with envy and awe, and had mixed feelings. So majestic, of course! The Xuanhuan sect's genuine disciples are not like the casual cultivators in our small place, who work themselves to death every day for a little spiritual energy. Their sect is located on the spiritual peak and has a special spiritual energy formation. They don't have to worry about spiritual power and have all kinds of resources. Yes, I heard that the leader is an inner sect disciple invited by the Zhu mansion from the Xuanhuan sect to compete for the position of the pavilion elder of Ziyun Town. He has a distinguished status and extraordinary strength. He can suppress all the cultivators in Ziyun Town by himself. The inner sect disciples of Xuanhuan sect are all favored ones among the cultivators, with extraordinary qualifications. All of them are cultivators of the 5th rank or above, which is more than enough for them to suppress a mere Ziyun Town. The Zhu family is one of the 3 major cultivation families in our Ziyun Town. Now that the inner disciples of the Xuanhuan sect have shown up to support them, the position of Grand Lord must be in the Zhu family's pocket. Hearing the information revealed by the monks around him, Liangjie felt a little moved. Ziyun Town is a place where free monks gather. It was originally just a very simple camp. After hundreds of years of historical sedimentation and development, it gradually took shape and had an official leader, the Ziyun Town Guardian, and 4 elders who assisted in the management. The garrison commander is in charge of all affairs in Ziyun Town, and the 4 elders below him are in charge of the market town, auction, Purple Pavilion and Guard Camp respectively. The market refers to the market street where independent cultivators conduct daily transactions. There are 3 streets in the town, one of which is for daily spiritual objects, and the other 2 are occupied by foreign cultivators and hunting cultivators. The items sold are mainly spiritual beast materials, talismans, and elixirs. Auctions are held every half month. The monks offer relatively rare and valuable items for auction and charge a handling fee. The profit is not much lower than the transaction tax collected by the market day by day. As for the Purple Pavilion, it is responsible for registering the cultivators who settle in Ziyun Town. It is equivalent to a household register of cultivators. According to their strength, they can hold positions in the Purple Pavilion and receive remuneration for various tasks. The Wying refers to the defense force of Ziyun Town, which is composed of the elite members of the Ziyig. To put it nicely, the garrison is responsible for all affairs. In reality, the power and benefits are concentrated in the hands of 4 elders, and the garrison has become a mouthpiece among the 4 forces. The Zhu family originally already had a cabinet minister in charge of the auction affairs in Ziyun Town. However, due to the shattering of the life tablet of the previous cabinet minister in charge of the guard camp, the 3 major families set their sights on the strongest defense force in Ziyun Town and wanted to take control of it. Although Liangjie is not a cultivator, his vision is definitely not inferior to that of ordinary cultivators. He knows that the combination of the power of the guard camp and the power of the auction will definitely double the profits. That is why the Zhu family spent a lot of money to invite Xuanhuan's fellow brothers from the Xuanhuan sect to come and support them, hoping to establish the top position in Ziyun Town in one fell swoop. Spirit wine, spirit tea, spirit spring. These are just small things on the surface. I don't know what kind of benefits they promised in private. Thinking of the 23 spirit coins that he had saved with great difficulty, Liangjie smiled bitterly in his heart. This world is far more cruel than Earth. Ordinary mortals have no human rights. Only by leaving their mortal state can they have a little autonomy. Otherwise, they may be killed at any time. I must collect 100 spirit coins as soon as possible and strive to become a member of Xuanhuan sect, Liangjie reminded himself again and again. Hey, at this moment, Denia's anxious screams came from deep in the bamboo forest. Liangjie, stop it quickly! Liangjie didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't expect that this kid actually found a snow rabbit. But how to stop it? Although his physique was stronger than that of an adult after eating 3 spiritual fruits, it was still far from reaching the speed of a snow rabbit. With an idea in mind, Liangjie took off the slingshot hanging on his waist and took out a spirit coin. He made this thing a few days ago out of boredom. At this time, a snow-white fluffy ball of light flew out from the depths of the purple bamboo forest. Although it was a bit extravagant to use spirit stones, he only had spirit coins on him that could serve as stones. Liangjie didn't want to disappoint Daniu, so he didn't think much about it and moved quickly and decisively. With a pull and a release, the spirit stones shot out an astonishing speed. The snow rabbit is a pseudo-spiritual beast extremely sensitive to spiritual energy. When it heard the sound of breaking air, its body suddenly paused and was hit on the forehead by the spiritual stone. With a loud bang, the snow rabbit fell to the ground like a ball of fluff with its belly facing the sky and its 4 short legs exposed. The spirit stone fell right onto its belly, looking very funny. Liangjie didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I didn't expect that my unintentional action actually shot down a snow rabbit. Daniu chased out of the woods, grabbed the snow rabbit and the spirit coins on the ground, and walked over with a shocked look on his face. You are so awesome! Liangjie smiled and said nothing. At this moment, many people noticed the snow rabbit in his hand and gathered around in surprise. Yo, Snow Bunny, these 2 guys are quite lucky. They actually caught a pseudo-spiritual beast, which is hard to find even for cultivators. Alive, little brother, I will give you 10 spirit coins. Please sell the snow rabbit to me. There were monks in the crowd offering quotes. Daniu didn't expect that the snow rabbit would be worth so much money, and he was immediately at a loss. He said, this snow rabbit was caught by my brother, Liangjie. Whenever he has no idea, he will ask for help from his most trusted brother. Liangjie was still wondering why the snow rabbit would stop so stupidly. His mind started to work rapidly. 10 spirit coins were not a lot. The flesh and blood of the fake spirit beast is only worth 7 or 8 spirit coins. The key is that the snow rabbit in his hand is alive. There is a lot of stuff going on, and he can't let anyone fool him. At this moment, the crowd was suddenly separated by an invisible force, and a group of people came over, led by none other than Miss Zhu Fuqin and her senior brother from the Xuanhuan sect. Although Zhu Fuqin and others set up a barrier when they were enjoying the lake, it was one way and they could still hear the noise outside. The sudden gathering of people outside the tea pavilion still attracted their attention. Especially when they heard about the spirit beast, they couldn't help but stand up and come to watch. After all, the purple bamboo forest was a relatively safe area, and there shouldn't be any spirit beasts active there. The group of 6 walked into the crowd and immediately saw Daniu, who looked at a loss, and Liangjie, who was carrying a ball-shaped snow rabbit. Wow, what a cute beast! Another female monk among the 6 was immediately attracted to the snow rabbit in Liangjie's arms. Facts have once again proved that furry, petite rabbits are indeed a killer for girls, regardless of age. Junior sister is just a fake spirit beast, but I like it. Senior brother, the female cultivator who looked only 17 or 18 years old, was also quite pretty, and she looked at senior brother expectantly and begged. I didn't bring any spirit stones with me this time. When it came to this, everyone present knew what it meant. The cultivator who had made the offer earlier was very tactful and decisively withdrew. watching the reactions of the Xuanhuan sect disciples with a smile. Well, since junior sister likes it, we will buy. My little brother, how are you going to sell this fake spirit beast? Dainu obviously knew that the group of people in front of him were not ordinary people, so he timidly and naively took a half step back, lowered his head and said nothing. He was not very clear about the prices of spiritual beasts and pseudo-spiritual beasts, and if it is really sold at a high price, there are many cultivators and mortals watching at Ziyun today, and soon the servants in Ziyun Town will know that they have made a fortune. If it attracts the covetousness of other down-and-out cultivators, they will disappear from Ziyun Town in a few minutes. With this thought in mind, Liangjie grabbed the snow rabbit's ear and handed it to the female cultivator, revealing an innocent smile like a child. Since my sister likes it, I'll give it to her. It's just a stupid rabbit anyway. Puff! The female cultivators and others were all amused by Lu Hang's word stupid rabbit and smiled. However, those independent cultivators and ordinary people all showed expressions of extreme regret and looked at each other as if they were saying, turns out he's a silly boy. A live snow rabbit is worth at least 50 spirit coins. It could even be sold to a female cultivator from a big family for a higher price. But he actually gave it away for free. He didn't even know how to cherish such a windfall. Many people shook their heads and sighed. Even ordinary mortals know that this snow rabbit is of extraordinary value. How could the eldest lady of the Zhu family and the disciples of the Xuanhuan sect not know the value of the pseudo-spiritual beast? Although it is as easy as drizzle for them, they all came from the bottom. Zhu Fuqin said with a smile. Green Muth, the servant, is here. Lu came from behind the crowd. Liangjie winked at her, but he didn't expect her to be there to serve him. Zhu Fuqin didn't notice this and ordered with a smile on her face, give this little brother 50 spirit coins. When Lu took out the spirit coin, she noticed that the child in front of her was Hang's younger brother, whom she had just separated from. She couldn't help but slow down her movements and showed a look of surprise. Is that you, Sister Lu? Oh, do you know each other? Zhu Fuqin looked at the two of them, and Lu hurriedly explained and told the young lady that it was all thanks to this little brother that they were able to purchase the spiritual fruits and spiritual springs in a short period of time today. The Xuanhuan sect's group of people nodded slowly. He is a simple child. He has a good heart and obsessed with money. Are you the servant of monk Lu Tao? Yes, Liangjie answered respectfully. My Zhu family never treats anyone unfairly. What do you think about buying this snow rabbit with these 50 spirit coins? The monks and mortals gathered around began to breathe rapidly. 50 spirit coins are enough for a mortal to live a life of abundance, and are also a good resource for a cultivator. The Xuanhuan sect disciples looked at Liangjie with a smile, wanting to see how he would answer. Although Liangjie really wanted to take the 50 spirit coins, his reason told him that he could not take the money. It's too hot. Liangjie gritted his teeth. I'm sorry, miss, once a man has spoken he can't go back on his word. I have already given this snow rabbit to this beautiful sister, so I can't sell it to you anymore. Zhu Fuqin didn't expect that the other party would not be tempted by his offer of 50 spirit coins. If it were someone else, he would have been grateful and knelt down to thank him. He was stunned and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He turned around and said, is he a fool? He doesn't want to make money. That may not be the case. The senior brother in the lead looked at the scar on Shooter's forehead. A strange look flashed in his eyes and said, since the little brother insists on not accepting it, you can accept it. Junior sister. Liangjie handed the snow rabbit to the female cultivator of Xuanhuan sect, and he breathed a sigh of relief as if a huge stone had been lifted from his heart. Chapter 1004 Change of Allegiance. After returning from Zhu, Lu Hang had just arrived home when people from the Zhu family came to his door. After opening the door, Liangjie immediately recognized that this purple-haired monk, who was about 40 years old, was a wandering cultivator of the Topiju mansion. It was unclear how deep his cultivation was, but he often walked around the market. Lu followed behind him, winking and giggling at him. What you fear will come true! Liangjie smiled. Thinking that he was doomed, the money had been sent home and he didn't know how to get past Lu Tao. Feeling depressed, the purple-haired monk spoke loudly. Yao San, a retainer of the Zhu family, is here to visit and hopes to meet Brother Lu. The voice was clear and the sound came into the door. Lu Tao opened his eyes a little and murmured, Zhu Mansion has never had any contact with independent cultivators like us. Could it be that the little beast is causing trouble for me outside, fellow Taoist? Please wait a moment. Lu Tao packed up and went out, personally leading Yao San into the yard. Seeing Liangjie standing at the door calmly, Lu Tao's eyes flashed with doubt. How can a mortal stand here peacefully after angering the Zhu family? What is the purpose of the Zhu family's visit? But everyone who comes is a guest. What's more, the other party was a retainer of one of the three great elders of Ziyun Town, and his cultivation had reached the peak of the second level, which was even higher than that of Lu Tao. Naturally, he did not dare to neglect him. With a wave of his hand, a set of tea-set lingquan fell on the stone table in the courtyard. His residence was simple and the hospitality was not good enough. Brother Lu, you're welcome. Yasan bowed. There is something going on at home. I am here on the orders of the young lady, specifically to ask Brother Lu for something. Lu Tao was deeply shocked and took a deep breath. The eldest lady of the Zhu family, Miss Fuqin, wants someone from me. Things are serious. Zhu Fuqin is the most talented woman in the Zhu family. It is rumored that she will take over as the eldest daughter of the Zhu family and the future elder of Ziyun Town. The next moment, Liangjie felt too cold. Electric gazes falling on him. He felt as if he had fallen into an icy cave. Blood in his body almost solidified, and he felt extremely uncomfortable. Lu Tao's icy, Gnashing words rang in my ears. You little bastard! Look what you've done. Brother Lu misunderstood. Yao San explained with a smile. My young lady thinks Hangjie is capable and wants to recruit him to the mansion to look after the sacred tree. That's all, Brother Lu. Please don't get any misunderstanding. Oh. Lu Tao showed a look of astonishment, and his spiritual energy slowly withdrew. Lu Hangjie only felt his body lighten, as if a fish that was about to die of thirst returned to the river. He gasped for breath and smiled bitterly in his heart. This was the helplessness of mortals in the wild world. If they were not careful, they might be killed by the cultivators I see. But I only have this capable servant under my command. My lady is willing to use a blood spirit pill to buy Lu Hangjie's indenture, and I hope you can give it up. Yao Sandao. Lu Tao was deeply moved. A blood spirit pill can replenish nearly half of a second-grade cultivator's spiritual power in a short period of time. It costs more than 20 spirit coins and is rarely sold in the market. Only the wealthy Zhu family, which is in charge of the auction, can easily afford it, but he couldn't understand why the Zhu family would pay such a high price for the indenture of a mortal servant. Seeing the hesitation and doubt in Lu Tao's eye, if you feel that the Zhu family's offer for one blood spirit pill is not fair, feel free to tell me. I will explain it to the young lady when I return home. No, no, no! Lu Tao woke up from his dream, broke out in a cold, and nodded like a woodpecker. Fair. I just wonder how this guy can be worth a blood spirit pill. Haha. Hangjie, it is your blessing to be favored by the Zhu family. In the future, you should work like you work for me. Oh no. You should work harder to be a big lady. Do you understand? Yes! Lu Hangjie was still a little confused, but he knew he had no choice but to nod. The two exchanged the indenture, and Lu Hangjie no longer belonged to Lu Tao and officially became a servant in the Zhu mansion. After saying goodbye to Lu Tao, Lu Hangjie obediently followed Yao San out of the yard. Along the way, the three of them remained silent. Yao San did understand why the eldest lady went to Lu Tao in person to buy the indenture of this young boy, and wondered what this boy was capable of, because Lu was a servant. Although she was happy that Lu Hangjie came to the Zhu mansion, she did not dare to show it in front of Yao San for servants. The rules of the Zhu mansion were iron rules that could not be violated. As for Lu Hangjie, he was quite calm. From a servant to a servant, from the Lu mansion to the Zhu mansion, the nature of his identity seems to have not changed much. However, after the snow rabbit incident in Zhu Lake, the eldest lady of the Zhu mansion seems to have some different opinions and interests in himself. I don't know whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Never mind. Now that we are here, let us make the best of it! After a while, the three of them arrived in front of a magnificent mansion. Lu Hangjie couldn't help but look at the magnificent building in front of him. Unlike ordinary cultivators' residences, the steps in front of the main gate of Just Mansion and the four red painted stone pillars are engraved with fine and mysterious patterns that form an array. Every brick and stone on the left and right walls is also engraved with a small magic array, giving people a unique sense of shock. It is worthy of being the residence of the elder of Ziyun Town. The protective array outside the mansion is stacked layer upon layer, making the entire house like a war fortress. The rich foundation is not comparable to those small casual cultivators. Yao San climbed up the stairs and explained to the monk guarding the gate. The eldest lady asked me to bring this little guy in. The gatekeeper nodded and let him pass. The interior of the Zhu mansion is even more magnificent and luxurious than the outside. An ordinary cultivator's house would flourish if there was a spiritual well or a spiritual fruit tree. On the left and right sides of the front hall of Just Mansion were 4 spiritual fruit trees with fragrant aroma. They were older than the ones in Lord Dania's house, with luxuriant branches and leaves, which made people feel refreshed. Under the rockery and stone bridge a spiritual spring was gurgling, and a thin layer of spiritual energy was swirling into mist, which left Lu Hangjie stunned. Oh my god! Such a big spiritual well, with such a large spiritual. The Zhu family went to the market to purchase spiritual fruits and spiritual springs. What a joke! When he turned around he saw Lu winking and shaking her head at him. He could only suppress his doubts and wait for the chance to ask again. Along the way, Lu Hang felt like a modern man following a poor boy into the Grandview garden, with only amazement and wonder left until, Yao San stopped. Lu Hangjie's eyes were opened. This was a large back garden. A dozen maids in their prime were standing or squatting in different places in the garden, fiddling with spiritual herbs and teas of different heights. They were extremely focused and didn't notice anyone breaking in at all. I've brought the man here, Lu. Please tell him about the rules of the mansion first. I'll report back to the young lady and see what kind of work shall assign to him. Lord Yao. After Lu bowed, Yao San turned and left. After Yao San walked away, Lu rubbed her stiff face and said with a relieved smile, Brother Hangjie, I never thought that you could enter the Zhu mansion and work under the eldest lady. Who could have imagined? Lu Hangjie was secretly complaining in his heart, but on the surface he looked like an ignorant and inquisitive boy. Sister Lu, please stop keeping me in suspense. What is going on? Why did the eldest lady suddenly buy me to the Zhu mansion? Lu smiled triumphantly. Isn't it because you refused to take the money? What is the reason? Lu continued to explain. Okay, I won't tease you anymore. Actually, after you took your friends away, the eldest lady's senior brother made a comment that aroused the eldest lady's interest at the time. Do you know what he said about you? Big sister, cluck. Lu giggled for a while, and the eldest senior brother said, You are smarter than ordinary children. You know that the tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. At that time, the eldest lady and others didn't understand, and asked the senior brother. Then the senior brother said, In the wild world, mortals are like A child with 50 spirit coins, especially in front of so many people, can never survive half a day. Brother Hang, do you really think so? Liangjie was shocked in his heart, but he replied, how is that possible? I just thought, it's just a stupid rabbit. You can just shoot it with a slingshot. How can it be worth so much money? Yes, Lu said with an expression that said, as I expected. I couldn't help but interrupt and said that you definitely didn't think that much. As a result, the eldest lady's senior brother smiled and said something to her. What? He asked the eldest daughter to help buy your indenture contract, arranged a job for you in the mansion, then took out a potted spiritual tree and said he would let you take care of it. He also promised that when you make the spiritual tree bear fruit, he would recommend you to join the outer sect of Xuanhuan sect. Lu pointed to a bonsai tree that looked sick not far away. But I guess he must be teasing you. Look at the appearance of that spiritual tree. How can it bear fruit? Did he really say that? Liangjie was extremely shocked. He didn't expect that any cultivator in this world could have such intelligence and vision. He could see the clues and make a decision based on the snow rabbit incident alone. Lu only saw that Liangjie was tempted by the conditions for joining Xuanhuan sect, so she explained, don't hold your hopes too high. I heard from the eldest lady that once the spiritual fruit tree is damaged, it will need a lot of spiritual springs to irrigate it and absorb spiritual energy. Not only that, the fruit growing cycle will also be interrupted. It will not be able to recover until the spiritual fruit tree is fully recovered. With your salary as a servant, let alone repairing it, it will be a problem whether you can feed it. That's true. Liangjie has done some research on fruits and fruit trees. Once the trunk is damaged, the fruit tree will first feed back the nutrients it absorbs to the damaged area to repair it, and it will not be able to effectively produce fruit. Spiritual fruit trees are even more troublesome. In addition to the constant watering of spiritual springs, they also need more spiritual spring energy to repair the damaged trunk. Even for casual cultivators, it is difficult to support them with their wealth, not to mention a loaf. It is simply a fantasy. Liangjie pondered upon hearing this. Even Lu knew this simple truth and concluded that she could not complete this difficult task. How could the eldest lady not know it? Then why did he bring the injured spiritual fruit tree back to the mansion and buy his indenture from Lu Tao at the price of a blood spirit pill? Liangjie vaguely guessed something, but was not quite sure. Now he could only wait for Zhu Fuqin to return before making any plans. Chapter 5 Water Control Technique. The Zhu mansion covers a very large area, with a total of more than 20 courtyards, which covers an area of 5 acres. She has more than 20 maids at her disposal, as well as 3 retainers whose cultivation has reached the peak of the 2nd rank. Since the eldest lady was not around, Lu explained the rules of the Zhu mansion to Liangjie. The master's yard and warehouse are forbidden areas, and no one is allowed to approach them. Servants are also not allowed to enter other places at will, unless they are doing things according to the young lady's oral instructions. In the mansion, the young lady and the young master Zhu Feifan have always been at odds with each other, and the servants in each other's mansions do not interact with each other. Lu has repeatedly reminded them that unless absolutely necessary, they must never go near the young master's yard. In the past, several maids were accidentally caught by the young master and taken into the yard and then disappeared without a trace. The disappearance of the young girl immediately made Liangjie imagine a lot, but it did not stop him from labeling Zhu Feifan as a dangerous species. Sister Lu, what do you do on weekdays? There are many things to do. Lu pointed to the garden. The young lady has 5 acres of spiritual rice fields, 27 spiritual tea trees and 5 spiritual wells, all of which are handed over to her servants to take care of. I remember that the spiritual rice fields and spiritual trees need to use the water control technique to take care of Liangjie. Oh, is it possible? Hearing this, Lu showed a proud expression. The young lady taught us the water control technique, so we are considered half apprentice monks. How about that? Liangjie showed his true envy. Don't worry, since the young lady has accepted you, she will definitely teach you the water control art. Although it is difficult to master with our qualifications, there is abundant spiritual energy in the yard, and it is much easier to perform than outside. You will be able to master it soon, Lu explained. In addition to these, we servants can receive 3 spirit coins and 1 spirit fruit every month, which is better than what you get from Master Lu, right? One is in heaven, the other is on earth. There is no comparison. Liangjie was speaking the truth. Just from the teaching of the water control art, one can see the confidence and courage of the Zhu family as a cultivation family. Their achievements today were not the result of a trap falling from the sky. Sister Lu, can you show me the water control technique? No problem. But I can't guarantee success at once. Lu agreed without saying anything, walked to the front of a spiritual tea tree, and repeatedly said that now was not the time when spiritual energy was most abundant, and the spell might fail, and she was not allowed to laugh at it then. The next moment, Liangjie was surprised to notice that Lu's body became noticeably moist, and transparent liquid gradually condensed in front of her, and then gathered in her hands, finally forming a water ball with a diameter of about 10 centimeters. Success. Lu showed a happy expression. The spell casting is not over yet. The first step of the water control technique is to gather spirits, and the second step is to use these gathered water elements to nourish the spirit tree in the form of rainfall. The water ball began to sway and deform, pulling into a small water cloud. There was slight sweat on Lu's forehead, but her expression was very focused and serious. She was completely immersed in the spell of making it rain. Water clouds floated above the tea tree and crystal threads fell. The leaves of the tea tree made a slight rustling sound soaked in the rain, and slowly stretched out their branches in joy. After a long while the water clouds gradually disappeared and Lu stopped raining. She wiped the sweat from her forehead and said, "Oh, it's really tiring, Brother Hank, can you see it clearly? It takes a long time from casting to finishing, only then can it be considered finished. I can only cast the water control spell twice a day. Now my mana is dry and I have to wait until tomorrow morning to recover. Miss, you are here." Having said that, he bowed down immediately. Liangjie was also startled. He turned around and saw Zhu Fuqin standing less than 2 meters behind him with a calm expression. It was unknown how long he had been there. "Hangji has met the lady. This girl is really something." She didn't say anything when she came. Zhu Fuqin naturally didn't know what Liangjie was thinking, so she nodded and said, "Has Lu already told you the rules of the mansion?" "Yes, Sister Lu said that without the instructions from the young lady and the master, we should stay in the yard to serve these spiritual creatures and not run around." Liangjie looked respectful. Upon hearing this, Zhu Fuqin nodded again with satisfaction. "Lu will now teach you the formula of water controlling art in addition. You will live in the room on the east side close to Lu. I have asked someone to make an identity plate for you. With this, you will officially become a servant of the Zhu mansion. Please answer me a question first. Please give me your instructions, miss. What was the real reason why you refused to accept the spirit coins at Zhu? Tell the truth. Why are women in this world like this? They like to get to the bottom of any problem they encounter." Liangjie thought with a strange expression. But he didn't dare to hide it again. Lying to a monk was not a good idea. "I am afraid of death." "Oh," Zhu Fuqin reacted calmly. He had actually learned the answer from his senior brother a long time ago. He just wanted to confirm whether this guy was really that smart. "Indeed, quite interesting," Zhu Fuqin said. "Lu should have told you that my senior brother is very interested in you and has given you a difficult question." "Yes," said so. "What do you think?" Zhu Fuqin raised her chin, and for some reason she felt a little excited. "Boy, just wait for the lady to arrange it." Zhu Fuqin was stunned by Liangjie's answer. Then she nodded with interest and turned away. "Come with me." Liangjie raised his leg and followed, leaving Lu standing there in a daze with a look of shock and envy on her face. The eldest lady's cultivation is at the peak of the 3rd rank, which makes her considered a cultivator with very good qualifications in Ziyun Town. Especially since she is only 18 years old, she has a clear advantage over those cultivators who are dozens or hundreds of years old. Following the eldest lady into the main house in the courtyard, and walking down the stairs from the secret passage to a spacious and hidden basement, Liangjie's thoughts became clearer and clearer. There are 4 luminous pearls inlaid in the corners of the basement. The dim light projects the young lady's back. An invisible pressure covers the basement and the barrier opens. My senior brother is a leader among the inner disciples of Xuanhuan sect. He is usually approachable but seldom praises others. Today he rarely praised a mortal, which made me very interested. The eldest lady spoke calmly but never turned around, so Liangjie couldn't figure out what she was planning. So he didn't say anything in return. After a long silence, the eldest lady spoke again and sighed. "Do you know where I went when I left just now?" "I don't know." The eldest lady turned around with an interested expression on her face. "I heard that you helped Lu and Kong Fang purchase spiritual fruits and spiritual springs during the day, so I asked about your friend out of curiosity." Liangjie's heart skipped a beat. Then I heard the eldest lady narrating in a frightening voice. "You are indeed very smart. You don't touch the interests of the master family, and you try your best to keep a low profile and preserve yourself. Then, you make the difference through your friends without anyone knowing. You want to accumulate 100 spirit coins in this way and join a small sect nearby." Yes, since the eldest lady had already known about it, Liangjie did not quibble and nodded in acknowledgement. The eldest lady's smile became even more intense. She scanned Liangjie's face carefully several times and said, "I am surprised. The banquet at your house was obviously a spur-of-the-moment idea. You actually made a plan in a short time and earned a fortune that is incredible to you mortals without anyone noticing. You are really meticulous in thinking. I deserve my senior brother's praise for you." Nothing can be hidden from the young lady's discerning eyes. "Don't praise me. Lu has been with me for many years. I know she would not entrust the business to you for no reason. You trusted her and took spiritual objects worth more than 200 spiritual coins from 2 monks without a deposit. You were risking your life. It is hard to believe that such courage can be done by a mortal servant. So after my observation and judgment, I am afraid that my senior brother's evaluation of you is still low." "Don't be afraid. I just didn't expect you to be so experienced at such a young age. Also, I brought you here to make an agreement. Miss, please speak." Liangjie took a deep breath. The eldest lady's eyes were filled with more admiration for Liangjie's calmness. The Zhu family has deep roots in Ziyun Town, but the 3-way balance of power has been going on for a long time. My father told me that it is very easy for the patriarchs of other small families to obtain the position of elders, as long as they have the support of the 3 major families. But it is extremely difficult for the people of the 3 major families to obtain the position of elders of the guard camp. To break this deadlock, one family must suppress the 2 major families. The Zhu family is not strong enough, and the sect will not allow the balance of Ziyun Town to be destroyed. What does this have to do with me? Liangjie had a strange look on his face, thinking to himself, could it be that this girl wanted him to become an advisor to the Zhu family? While thinking about it, the eldest lady changed her tone and said, "If you have been to Xuanhuan sect, you will know how small Ziyun Town is. The 3 major families are complacent and will sooner or later be annihilated by the monsters in the wild world. My senior brother warned me that the Zhu family's thinking has been rigid for too long. If we want to achieve something, we must break all the old rules, establish a new order, and cultivate our own strength. I hope you can be my first helper. When Liangjie heard the last sentence, he was shocked beyond words. Are you kidding? Is there April Fool's Day in the wild world? I am just a mortal. Because of the oath, I cannot teach you the Xuanhuan sect's skills. However, my Zhu mansion has controlled the auction and has also intercepted many secrets of the skills, which are more than enough to help you become a cultivator. The eldest lady's casual words made Liangjie's heart beat fast. This is the goal I have always dreamed of and strived for. Once you become a cultivator, you can leave the mortal world. As long as you are within the sphere of influence of Ziyun Town, you will not be afraid of being beaten and killed by other cultivators at will, and your safety will be guaranteed. The eldest lady continued, "Don't worry, I won't tie you up for too long. My goal is to integrate all the cultivators in Ziyun Town, and then go to Xuanhuan sect to practice wholeheartedly. The Zhu mansion must become a rear base that provides a stable supply of resources for me. As long as this day comes, it's up to you to stay or go." This episode is complete. Welcome to subscribe, turn on the small bell forward, please leave your comments. I will continue to update the content behind.